Alright, we're back for round 2. Definitely want to play first with this deck, as you generally do in most limited games. Oh, this hand. I think this is a mulligan. We have 4 lands and a 4-drop, and 2 cards that do nothing until we play a creature. So this hand is extremely dependent on drawing a 2 or a 3-drop in our first 2 draw steps, and that's really not where I want to be with this deck. I think that type of pressure is really too much in this deck. This hand is not going to win the game unless we draw those 2 cards, so we're going to mulligan. This hand is fine. I'm glad I mulliganed. Let's wish our opponent hello and good luck, and let's continue on. Alright, Drew Forest, not terrible, not great. We don't need that many lands, but this deck does have ways to spend its mana like this. That card's good. I hope this is the only creature or human he plays for the rest of the game. A little not on time, but that's okay. We'll play the Spirit and pass the turn. Okay. This is probably the blue player at the table who got all the blue cards. Okay. So I think we're just going to play a land, attack, and then play the Mausoleum Guard to use up all of our mana. This is also the worst creature to use the Flare on, which is relevant. I have a feeling this guy's deck's going to be pretty good, so... he's got 6 cards in hand, 2 great creatures on board, so... I think we're in for a tough game. We'll see. I mean, this deck has the power to kind of ignore a lot of the advantages that you get based off of these cards, just by virtue of having creatures that are so big that it makes those cards irrelevant because the game ends before that, which is kind of why I like playing aggressive decks in Limited, just because it allows you to dictate the pace of the game and allows you to prevent a lot of the good cards from people's decks to get online. I've heard, especially in Return to Ravnica Limited, I've heard that you want to be, or at least for Sealed, you want to be as aggressive as possible to deny people the ability to play those bombs that they have in their decks, especially in Sealed, I guess, is what I'm referring to. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think we're just going to flood the board with dudes. It's going to attack with both of them. And just play a wolf and a spirit and pass the turn. What I'd love is a prey pawn so we can get this flare out of the way, but I think it's past the time when that's going to be relevant because it's going to be able to activate in response. But so it goes. Your position's looking pretty good. I think this game depends on how many humans he can produce this card. Because if he's able to trade, cards that, we're going to be up in mana, but he's going to be able to make the choice and have the ability to trade any human, obviously, with any of our guys. And so if he plays, something that's less valuable than any of our creatures, it's going to be tough to get out of the situation. we'll have to see. It's good that he's playing Think Twice and Thought Scour and stuff, and rather than just activating this. Looks like your opponent's thinking I'm going to pause until he... Alright, looks like he's decided on what he's doing. So much value. I like this guy's deck. As much as I do like to play aggressive strategies, these are way more fun, I think. Just because you have so many choices, and you get to do sweet things like flashback Think Twice and flashback Forbidden Alchemy when you discard it to the Scholar and stuff. That's a good draw. I think yeah, that's probably the perfect draw in our deck, just because it provides so much pressure and fits perfectly with our current mana situation. Well, that's a good card. This guy's no. I was thinking this guy might have been the guy to our left, just because we passed the Tragic Slip, but that one was foil, so or maybe it wasn't foil, I forget. Whatever. Alright. So I think this is the critical turn to see what he does. It's going to be real awkward if he plays a human that can block any of our guys profitably. Because then we can't burn the guild, because then he'll just sack. He'll use the flare, sacking the human that he plays. So it's good that he's digging. I suppose that you're going to be always activating this every turn, so it's not that relevant. Or it's not really a sign of whether or not things are going well for us. He looks to be stuck on just a swamp, so maybe what he's looking for. Again, this is why a deck like mine is so, or can be so powerful, because, you know, clearly this creature, the flare is better than most of these. Maybe not this, but I guess it has a higher top end power level. But you know, since it's so expensive to use, he's really unable to get any advantage out of this before we're able to basically kill him before that. So you know, here he's forced to either sack the flare to itself or sack the brute to kill one of our guys, and that's a trade that I'm totally willing to make with any of these, especially when all of these guys cost more mana than he's putting into both the activation and the cost on each of the creatures. So it looks like he's just gonna, yeah. So what are our options? He can... I don't know, let's see. How do we no, it's not going to work. I'm trying to figure out if there's a flash creature that he has. My thinking is that he's going to want to block something. So block, say, the guard or the wolf. And then activate the flare to probably destroy the griffin. And he'll just take 4. So if I burn a guilt, this is going to be forced to just pre-combat and kill the griffin. Which I think, if he doesn't have a flash creature, he just loses, so I'm going to try doing that. Alright, looks like he's going to... Yes, yeah, he has to kill a wolf. Which is fine. We're just going to crash in there. Alright. He's probably dead here. You have to play creature and... No, he's dead. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so sideboarding. I mean, I guess he did have a lot of removal. I think I want to be his... Oh, this sounds pretty good, actually. I'm going to side this in for a Skillful Lunge. Blanking... Not blanking, per se, but at least preventing him from targeting any of our creatures seems pretty good, considering what we saw. We saw Tragic Slip, we saw the Flare. I think that's what we want. I don't think we want the Spellringer. I think we want the Survivors, I think. Just because it's bigger. I mean, this is better if your opponent has creature. His deck looks slow, and so he's not going to be attacking a lot. And so the value of having this card goes down. And I think we want something that is just huge and he has to deal with. And Survivors definitely gives that ability. So, and it defends in a similar way to the Bellringer just because it has Vigilance. So if this was I think Sand's pretty slow, but I don't think we can mulligan. Just so we have a prey pawn that we can deal with any of his bigger, kind of more important cards. That was a pretty bad draw, but that's okay. At least we have creatures that he kind of has to deal with. That was a good draw. There we go. Now we have a pretty good curve going. We said to draw some lands. So we'll pass the turn back. Perfect. So we're going to play the Spirit and pass the turn. Okay. Seed, okay, he's just passing the turn. Okay, so he got rid of a Tragic Slip. That makes me scared, to be frank. I really wonder what he picked over it. Let's see. Yeah, so I think he's probably to our left. He probably picked a Tragic Slip first. Yeah, we definitely were passing up some tower guys, so I think this guy's going to have probably a pretty good deck. Yeah, nothing we can do. Just got to pass the turn. Sure. So Moon Heron, that is fine, I guess. Not the greatest, but that's alright. I'm going to play this. So the better question is, do we want to trade? And I think, I don't think we do. Actually, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, because we have better plays. I think I'm just gonna play this big fatty. we have the ability to get rid of this, and we can kind of basically, I think we can get use out of the spirit later on, whether it be through that's bad. Whether that be through combat tricks like travel preps, or just being able to force them to block something else, or this prey upon. I think we have other options. Yeah, like right here. I'm just gonna play this fatty. Okay. That's probably fine. So I think what I want to do is prey upon here and attack. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. I think we want to end this game quickly. He only has 2 cards in hand, and we'll have another prey upon for his follow-up. We can also, if he doesn't have a flyer, then we can just prey upon the Departed with the Scarecrow, which will be pretty good. Sure. All right, so he flashbacked the alchemy, which is fine by me. He pitched. He's apparently splashing for something. I don't. Yeah, I think we just have. So let's think about this. If we prey upon here, it's going to do 3 extra damage. So right now we have him on a 3-turn clock. If we prey upon, we'll have him, or if we leave it as is, we'll have him on a 3-turn clock as well. Or no, excuse me. We'll have him on a 2-turn clock. Yeah, I think that's probably better. He has to deal with these next turn, or else he loses. So. So hopefully you can't deal with it. I mean, we have some live draws too with travel preps, any of our burden of guilt if you play something that we have to tie down, or just playing big creatures. He does have 4 cards in hand, so he's likely going to have something to at least interact with our board. How favorable that is remains to be seen. It's a lot of mana. Sure. I think we've got this now. yeah, I mean, it's a perfect example of why I love, getting so much value off of these things. Um, they just, that's a good card against us. He just, we don't give him enough time, or we don't give him time uh, to really. He's gonna mill himself out. That's funny. We just don't give him time to interact with our flyers. Yep. I mean, his deck looked pretty sweet. This is, I think, what you want to be doing in blue-black. I think he he just ran out of removal, to be honest. I mean, this card, I'm not really sure if he should be playing, but the guy's pretty meh. I like this card a lot. The ghoul. Yeah. All right, next round.